Cleveland, the city where football dreams go to die and hope shows up late. Again, the Browns were supposed to be building something, anything. But instead, they've turned quarterback management into a tragic art form. Enter Kevin Stefanski, the man with a headset, a plan, and apparently a deep, emotional attachment to bad decisions. Now, the storm starts when Chris Canty, yes, that Chris Canty, walks into ESPN's Get Up like he's hosting an intervention. He didn't bring sympathy. He brought evidence, frustration, and a verbal flamethrower aimed squarely at Cleveland's sideline philosopher. The topic? Dillon Gabriel, the quarterback who's made 3 and out feel like a brand slogan. I have no idea what Stefanski's doing, Canty says, practically vibrating with disbelief. If this is his plan, then I'm willing to see what's behind door number 3, because door number 1 and 2 look like reruns of failure. He's not wrong. In 4 games, Gabriel's thrown footballs like he's allergic to accuracy. His passes float like balloons at a birthday party. His reads? Slower than Cleveland's playoff drought. And while the fans scream for change, Stefanski keeps preaching patience, like he's coaching a meditation retreat instead of an NFL team. Kenny can't take it anymore. You've got Shedeur sitting there, ready, hungry, calm under pressure, and you're sticking with a guy who ranks dead last in yards per attempt, dead last in air yards, and second worst in QB rating. That wasn't analysis. That was an execution. By the time he's done, even the ESPN studio looks stunned. You can almost hear the producers whispering, "Did he just say that on live TV?" But the truth hurts, and Cleveland's been allergic to it for years. Because here's the thing, this isn't just about one player. It's about a pattern. The Browns get talent, bury it under confusion, and then act shocked when the season collapses. Gabriel keeps trotting out there, throwing interceptions like he's on commission, while Shedeur, the future, the spark, sits on the bench collecting dust. And through it all, Kevin Stefanski keeps saying the same thing. We're focused on progress. Progress? The only thing progressing in Cleveland is the frustration level. Chris Canty didn't just critique Stefanski. He cracked open the Browns' entire identity crisis. He exposed a franchise so addicted to dysfunction that logic doesn't even apply anymore. One side of the locker room's frustrated, the other's confused, and the head coach, calm as ever, like a man meditating in a burning building. And that's just part 1. Because what happens next, when Stefanski starts losing the locker room, the fans, and maybe even his job, is where this story really catches fire. What came next wasn't analysis. It was televised destruction. Chris Canty didn't just question Kevin Stefanski's decisions. He disassembled them on national TV. One moment he's talking stats. The next he's launching a full-scale row session that made the control room interns clutch their headsets. He laid out the numbers like courtroom evidence. "You're telling me," he said, "that after the bye week you're still riding with Dillon Gabriel? A guy who's dead last in yards per dropback, can't hit a post route to save his life, and treats the red zone like a haunted house? What are we doing here?" Silence, then laughter. The good kind, the painful kind. Because everyone knows he's right. Gabriel has turned Sunday afternoons into highlight reels for opposing defenses. Every deep ball dies halfway there. Every third down throw ends in collective groans. And every press conference afterwards sounds like Stefanski's auditioning for the role of confused dad in a sports movie. Meanwhile, Shedeur sits there, helmet strapped, waiting for a chance that never comes. The kid's got poise, precision, pedigree, everything Cleveland claims to want. Yet week after week, he watches Gabriel lob prayers into double coverage while the coaching staff pretends everything's under control. Canty called it what it is, nonsense. "If you're scared to let the rookie play," he growled, "maybe you shouldn't be coaching." The panel froze. Even the analysts who usually dance around controversy just nodded. They've seen it before, a talented prospect buried under coach's ego. The whole segment turned into therapy for Browns fans everywhere. Social media erupted like a tailgate fire. Clips of Canty's rant hit 1 million views before lunch. Inside the Browns facility, you could almost feel the temperature drop. The locker room whispers started. "Whose side are we on?" One player muttered, "If they bench Shedeur again, I'm starting a GoFundMe to buy the team." Another shook his head. "This ain't football anymore. This is politics." And he's not wrong. Cleveland's quarterback rotation looks like a carnival act. 4 names in and out, promotions, demotions, practice squad miracles. It's less a strategy than a fever dream. Stefanski keeps talking about development, while developing nothing but headaches. By midweek, even local radio hosts joined a rebellion. Callers lined up to say the same thing: play the kid. One fan said, "I don't care if Shedeur throws 3 picks his first game, at least that's honest football." What we got now is confusion wearing a helmet. But the head coach still refused to bend. Stefanski stared down microphones and mumbled about staying the course, as if the course wasn't leading straight off a cliff. Canty ended the segment with a mic drop line that echoed through Cleveland sports bars. If confusion was a strategy, the Browns would be undefeated. By the time Wednesday rolled around, the tension in Cleveland's locker room was thicker than the Ohio fog. You could feel it, guys barely talking, trainers keeping their heads down, veterans walking past the media like ghosts. The only name anyone whispered anymore was Shedeur. Myles Garrett slammed his helmet on the floor after practice. "Man, we out here killing ourselves for nothing," he muttered. "How you expect us to fight when the coach won't even play the fighter?" Nobody replied, but everyone heard it. The message was loud and clear. This wasn't just about losing games anymore. It was about losing belief. Meanwhile, in Boulder, Shedeur Sanders was thriving. Cameras caught him stepping off the team bus, headphones on, that trademark calm stare locked in. Colorado fans surrounded him like he'd never left. Signs everywhere. "Welcome home, QB1. Let Prime cook." Cleveland's loss equals Colorado's win. Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, stood at midfield watching his son toss warm-ups. You could see that proud smile, not cocky, just certain. He knew this was the reset Shedeur needed. No politics, no ego battles, just football, straight ball. Then practice started, and the difference was immediate. The timing, the command, the rhythm, everything Cleveland was missing. 1 drive, 2 drives, boom, touchdown. The sideline erupted like a playoff crowd. It wasn't just another practice. It was a statement. Back in Ohio, reporters were asking Stefanski if he'd seen the footage. His response? A cold shrug and a tired smirk. "We're focused on our next opponent," he said, eyes glued to the floor. That quote hit social media faster than a pick six. Fans roasted him all night. Focused on what opponent, coach? The scoreboard. Even Browns insiders started leaking stories. Anonymous players said the locker room had checked out, that nobody trusted the system anymore. One insider said flatly, "It's over." He lost them the second he lost Shedeur. It got so bad that one reporter claims Stefanski privately reached out to the front office asking for a vote of confidence. Translation? He knows the walls are closing in. And while Cleveland unraveled, Colorado rose. Every touchdown Shedeur threw became a viral clip. Every sideline hug with Coach Prime became a meme captioned. That's what real leadership looks like. The contrast was brutal. One team drowning in excuses, the other shining in freedom. ESPN even ran a split-screen segment. On one side, Stefanski's lifeless press conference. On the other, Shedeur celebrating with his teammates under the Boulder lights. The caption read, "2 programs, 1 mistake." By Sunday, Cleveland fans were chanting Shedeur's name in their own stadium. Imagine that. A fan base so desperate for hope, they're cheering for a quarterback on another team. And somewhere deep down, even Kevin Stefanski had to know the ghost of Shedeur Sanders wasn't leaving his playbook anytime soon. By Monday morning, the Cleveland Browns were officially in meltdown mode. The front office called what they described as a closed-door meeting, but insiders said it looked more like a hostage negotiation. Phones were buzzing, voices were raised, and one executive reportedly yelled, "We can't keep losing the same way and expect a different result." Stefanski sat in the corner, eyes heavy, hands folded. He'd already heard the whispers. Ownership was losing faith. Players were frustrated. And worst of all, the fans had turned. Overnight, the once loyal dog pound flipped. Signs popped up reading "Free Shedeur" and "Let the kid cook." Every camera that showed Dylan Gabriel brought booze so loud they shook the broadcast mics. Meanwhile, in Colorado, the Sanders family was all smiles. Deion had been asked on live TV if he thought his son would ever go back to Cleveland. He laughed. "Man, you don't send a diamond back to the coal mine," he said. The clip hit 10 million views in 6 hours. Shedeur didn't respond directly, but his actions said enough. On the field, he was playing loose, confident, and precise. The same poise that once made NFL scouts label him the next great pocket assassin. Every pass looked smoother, every decision sharper. It wasn't just redemption, it was evolution. Then came the broadcast bombshell. ESPN reported that the Saints had quietly reignited their $21 million offer. This time, they came with a player swap and future picks that could rebuild Cleveland's roster overnight. The internet exploded. Talk shows went ballistic. One analyst called it the most poetic offer in modern football. Cleveland's front office panicked. Do they admit failure and trade the guy they buried on the bench? Or do they cling to pride and keep pretending Dillon Gabriel is the future? The clock was ticking. Inside the Browns facility, players were done hiding their feelings. Garrett, Chubb, Cooper all reportedly pulled Stefanski aside and said, "Play the kid." But pride is a dangerous drug. Stefanski refused to fold. Sunday arrived like a bad omen. The Browns faced the Ravens and got flattened, 31-6. Gabriel threw 2 interceptions before halftime. Cameras caught fans chanting, "We want Shedeur." It was chaos on national TV. And then, just as the post-game press conference started, word leaked. The Browns had declined the Saints trade. Twitter went nuclear. Analysts called it organizational suicide. Stefanski stepped up to the podium, face pale, voice cracking. "We believe in our plan," he said. But even he didn't sound convinced. The camera cut back to ESPN's studio, where the host leaned forward and said, "And that's Cleveland for you. A franchise allergic to its own future." Cut to Boulder, fireworks in the sky. Shedeur walking off the field after another 3-touchdown night. No press conference, no speech, just that quiet smirk and a handshake with his dad. Dion grinned, looked straight into the camera, and said, "Told y'all, you can't bench destiny." Fade out. Like, share, and subscribe because this story, oh, it's far from over.